Hello, good evening. I hope I'm coming through clear with the bandwidth on this Wi-Fi. So we're gonna be back to some double duty videos this week. Had an awesome time in Baltimore with Bitcoin Majlis team and the ICNA conference or ICNA conference, and got some uniquely different perspectives actually that versus the Bitcoin summit that we did earlier this year in Dallas. And I'd say like within the Muslim community, there's no disagreement about the fiat system being incongruent with beliefs or faith. Um, yet having that it's so ubiquitous, and and Bitcoin is not seen yet as or accepted as the solution to it. People like people struggle to handle Bitcoin volatility and are still concerned about like the anonymity of Satoshi Nakamoto. In many ways, it like represents a fear about um, wanting to trust but verify, but really not having the tools in their arsenal to verify, let alone just set up a multi-sig wallet that would protect them from losing their keys and stuff like that. And there's, long tail risks, quantum, what happens in the community, fights, forks, government, government ban, things like that. And it's like there's a lot more fear. Like, I think there's not like a negative view of it necessarily. I think it has successfully separated from that narrative of crypto. Well, still, some people still see it as crypto, or in fact, some insisted that Bitcoin should be like Muslims should go and make their own Bitcoin. I'm like, it's an interesting perspective because it's like, well, um, what about all the other monetary technologies or protocols from before? You had gold as a monetary technology, and then it was surpassed by banknotes or just notes as a technology, or paper notes as a technology, and then from paper notes it evolved to which I guess that's where fiat starts, but then it evolved to banking, central bank or digital banking, right? And then finally, now we have triple entry accounting, Bitcoin protocol. And in a sense, all of these are technologies. And, you had many people put their stamps and mints on gold. The Romans did it, and everybody else did it in their own way. There was Muslim gold, I guess, if you had like Arabic stamped gold coins versus Roman numeral stamped gold coins. The protocol for gold is the same. Doesn't really matter who stamps it. There's just a standardization element that's contributed to the idea or concept of money by the by the people doing the gold stamping. And then you get to paper money issuance, and it's the same thing. Like you have the same technology issued by different parties to gatekeep or present or preserve a certain market. Same thing with digital fiat. And it brings up the interesting concept of, will we see colored bitcoins being stamped and represented by different communities? Which I've never really thought about before, but like talking to people, they bring up crazy stuff, and it's crazy. Um, Now, colored Bitcoin, I use that word specifically because obviously there is a colored Bitcoin protocol, and that was one of some of the earliest ideas of storing data or representing Bitcoin differently than just Bitcoin. And if people want something, just give it to them in some ways. But maybe that's good, maybe that's not. But like when communities want to put art on Bitcoin, they can just do it. And with at least Muslims, I'd say the biggest thing is, I think, still a lot of education and um, having people build tooling, build architecture that might one day support, the grander scheme of whether it's just your community as part of the Bitcoin network or just the whole Bitcoin network state as a whole. I do truly believe it can become like something. I think, from at least from a financial investment thesis kind of perspective, though, very good to allocate to it almost like an emerging market. I think think it is. I really do see it as an emerging market. It's going to grow pretty fast. It's digital. It's savvy. It's uniquely advancing, and I do believe it has the potential to be like the third most big trading partner for the major economies, or just the third largest GDP kind of deal in the future. And this leads me to one other perspective that was brought up about people in general, but also specifically with Muslims having a really weird relationship to money. How it's like you're encouraged to go and get it, and then also encouraged to go spend it. Yet, you have like this whole riba bearing system, and you're overly focused on achieving it, and then you're taught to dislike it because it distracts you from the hereafter, or distracts you from your religious obligations. And um, it was cool to hear from someone that they what attracts them to Bitcoin is that it represents a spiritual sovereignty from the system, and they're not fully Bitcoiners, but that's what kind of drew them in this conversation. And people, people will come to Bitcoin the way they come to Bitcoin, how they understand it, and it's just a matter of like being there, showing up, and participating with them. Anyway, excited for Vegas. We'll see everybody out there soon, and looking forward to improving or reducing some of these barriers to entry that people have as we go. And I mean, my mom wants to buy Bitcoin, and I'd like to help her do it more securely and safer, or better than what's available out there. And we're gonna do all of it. Thanks for listening tonight. And one of these days I might just end up shirtless on these videos. Getting too cozy, but also it was lovely meeting friends there, just running into friends, share your portfolio. Apparently they have a Bitcoin ETF now too. Actually, I'm just adding uh, side notes now, and they have other crypto in there too. So maybe do your due diligence. They'll share what they offer, but I think that's really cool. Very forward looking, and I'm excited to see what more comes out of there. And one last thing is that it's nice to see or hear that people actually watch these videos, and it looks like we have 8 people watching today, which is, I think, the highest we've been so far. Thank you. And yeah, there's a lot of silent watchers that watch afterwards or catch up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I see your videos every day." That feels really nice. Thank you. We'll call it a night, and continue again tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.